It is 101. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey got things started this morning at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, talking about the state of the conference, saying there is no panic, no heightened sense of urgency for the SEC when it comes to conference realignment.
I'm proud to say, in my view, and I think in the view of our entire membership, the Southeastern Conference is stronger now than at any other time in our history.
Coming up next, Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin, the Portal King, will speak at 1:30. You can hear a portion of that right here on Blaine and Mickey. And, of course, 3HL will be at the College Football Hall of Fame, broadcasting live from today through Thursday, presented by Brentwood Hearing. Report from Charles Robinson in the NFL that Deshaun Watson and the NFLPA will look to sue the league in federal court if he is indeed suspended for the season. That news has not yet come down. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy SEC Media Days to all those who observe and celebrate such things. Lucas, are you excited about SEC Media Days?
I'm always excited about SEC Media Days.
You know who's more excited maybe than anybody? Vandy Eli is in the Zone TV chat, and Vandy Eli is feeling it. Vandy's winning at least 5 to 6 games this season. Let's just start with that. We got trash talking, beating Elon, Hawaii, Northern Illinois, South Carolina, Missouri, maybe Wake, and maybe Tennessee, says Vandy Eli. Then he follows that up with, prove me wrong.
No. Oh. I wouldn't be surprised that he said Elon, Hawaii, Northern Illinois. I don't know, South Carolina's on the uptick. Missouri's still kind of in the middle of the road, so they may have a shot depending on where the game's at. Tennessee, if they can deal with the tempo, it's always a rivalry, so you never know what could happen there. So, yeah, I think I see, 4 or 5, yeah.
Our buddy SEC Mike, who we have on, he'll be on with us later this week, right?
Yes.
In his podcast, he and, cousin Shane is his sidekick. Vandy's original over-under from Vegas on everywhere was 1.5. 1.5. Meaning if you thought they could beat Elon in Hawaii, you just made yourself some money. And they said it's climbed a couple of games since then. It was 1.5. I want to say that I vaguely remember that.
So now it's at like 2 or 3?
It's up to like 3.5 games now is what they were saying.
Oh.
Because the money's like, whoa, we got to adjust this thing some way.
I would have hopped on that for sure.
Hopped on 1.5?
Oh, yeah.
I'd hop on that for sure. I mean, it's not available anymore, but, you know. 1.5? I mean, Elon, they got to go to Hawaii.
Week 0, right? Like before, it's the week before Labor Day.
Yeah, that's actually the first game of college football, isn't it? Or no?
Is it?
I was hoping you guys knew, but
no, that's a heck.
I think
no.
it
Next
is.
time, just say it and just go with it.
Because he just said 0 week, and I was trying to think when Tennessee plays, and then it's before that. So why wouldn't it be one of the first games?
It won't be the first kickoff. It's on the first day. It's the first SEC.
Yeah, because it'll be so
action.
late.
Yeah, 9:30.
They'd have to play too early in the morning. Yeah,
I got you.
So according to
better.
this, it says time to be determined. Nevada, New Mexico State doesn't have a time, but the earliest scheduled college football game this season, boys, is Austin Peay at Western Kentucky.
Go. Keeping it local. Maybe that's
11
what you're
o'clock
thinking.
on Saturday, the 27th of September.
At Hilltoppers?
At Hilltoppers, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Then you got Nebraska, Northwestern at 11:30. Then Idaho State, UNLV at 2:30. UConn and Utah State at 3, and on we go.
So, but
FSU.
Vanderbilt is the first SEC game, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
FSU playing Duquesne.
Duquesne.
Really?
What?
Man, I'm starting to learn something. I didn't know some schools had programs.
I had never heard of
If
a
you asked
Duquesne
me about-
football
I
program.
know that.
I only know Duquesne because it looks like Duquesne, and I knew they played basketball, but I'm a little bit shocked about Duquesne football.
It shows how much I don't know when I'm looking at different realms of sports in some of the schools. how many of you guys knew that? Dang, what was the school? A kid Gonzaga has a great baseball program.
I did not know that.
I didn't even know they probably had a program.
I wouldn't be
The guy
surprised.
drafted in the first round. The guy from Gonzaga in a Major League Baseball draft. Yeah, and I was just like, whoa, dang. I didn't even go look it up. I was just like, wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if you told me Gonzaga has basketball and nothing else.
Right.
So you got to have a women's team, just a men's and women's basketball. It would not shock me.
Did not, but, I'm not even paying attention to Gonzaga sports besides their basketball program.
Just the fact, though, that we're sitting in Nashville and we know all about their basketball team. For a school they're in Spokane, I believe,
Yep.
Washington. It's a private school. For them to just say, we're going to be great at basketball, and to do it, to commit the resources and be great, because the teams they're competing with think about the SEC teams they're competing with, and the Big Ten and all these teams that get
ACC.
$40 million just right off the top as a cut from their conference, $50 million, whatever it is, depending on the conference. Those dudes don't have anything like that, and they still been competitive. It's amazing.
Competitive. They've been right in the hunt for the national title.
All they haven't done is win a title. And your guy Timmy's coming back. As you said, like, hey, man, that dude ain't ready for the NBA. So he's like, I'm going to come back and play another year. I'm going to come back. I'm gonna give it another go. That was a smart decision for that guy.
Man. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Greg Sankey making some decisions. He was talking this morning. I always enjoy.
Yeah, I saw him earlier. I caught my private private jet back here
Posting all those videos.
Yeah, because Lucas and Buck and those guys were getting a little concerned that I wasn't gonna make it back in time, but I did pull up right before we went on air, so that was cool. I want to thank all the drivers and keeping me safe and everything. But yeah, man. Atlanta's nice. Lucas. You okay, Lucas?
Yeah,
Man, you didn't think I was going to make it, right?
I had a brief moment. Is Blaine in Atlanta?
Well, I was briefly.
You flying that Tesla up.
I don't.
Man.
We tried to take my son to Atlanta to the aquarium that's right across the street from the College Football Hall of Fame. And I'll tell you this, it took us an hour to get in. It took us longer than an hour to get out. Just to get into that perimeter down there. And this was no SEC Media Days. I wasn't like Blaine.
Was something going on during that weekend?
Nothing. Just people living their life. That's how congested.
It was the summertime.
It was the summertime.
Oh, no. You got to go through it the downtime.
Oh, my God.
Like when everybody's like talking about going, I want to go somewhere for spring break. Go to do that. See, nobody's going there doing spring break. That's not the place they want to
That's
go.
when people tell me, like, Nashville's it's close to being like Atlanta traffic. I always say, no. It's not even remotely in the same stratosphere.
Nope.
Yeah. To the local people who've been here, born and raised, the traffic is just horrific because it's the worst it's ever been since they've been here. But it is definitely not on the, you're talking about 6-lane freeways and it's still jammed up. I mean, you're just like, oh, my God. This is horrible.
It's everybody.
You'll be sitting there.
Oh, it's either no one moving or everybody is going 93 inches away from each other into 6 lanes of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a small town guy. I get a job. I leave Jonesboro. I got to travel. And they were like, you need to go to Atlanta. You got to go do this and this and this. I was terrified. I finally just said, I can't drive on this interstate anymore. I was just taking streets everywhere. It was terrifying to me.
It was that terrifying?
Oh, my knuckles were white on the steering wheel. I was terrified.
Oh, man. You know what I did? I just said, oh, man, if I was in a NASCAR, this is how I would drive.
You have to.
So I was like, trying to whip in and around. That's what they were doing. Hey, man, got to keep up, man. Are you going to get lost in the shuffle?
I'm definitely going to do that at least once on the Music City Grand Prix track here before the race.
Going to get out on it, gun your engine, see what you can do.
Yeah.
Isn't
Ford
the station
Escape.
giving it? You have to, people could sign up for a VIP experience with you and Buck?
Yeah, hanging out on the General Jackson during the race, hanging out on the boat to watch the race from the river. Should be fun.
Oh.
I mean, when I think VIP experience, I think of you and Buck in a boat.
Right.
I mean, 100%. That writes itself.
Party to the tardy.
Oh, they are going to do that. We're going to hear from Greg Sankey some today. As Blaine mentioned, he kind of came out and got things going at the SEC Media Days. Curious, was there anything specific he said? And you can hit us in the Zone TV chat. You can call us. Here's Bill in Portland. Bill, I'll get you in just a second. anything that stood out that he said, because there were some things that stood out to me that I want to get into. I think he had a message for the NCAA, and I think he had a big message for the people who are not at the level of the SEC and maybe the Big Ten today. I think he had a big message to the everybody else's of the world, and I'll tell you where I got that.
Ooh, do we have the quotes? Does Lucas have to cut up?
He's got a bunch of it cut up for sure. Now, I don't know if he's got this specific thing because we talked a little bit ahead of time, but I didn't tell him this specific thing. But let's get Bill's question right quick, and then we'll talk Greg Sankey, because let's be honest. People say, well, there's no college football commissioner, and there's nobody pulling the strings. Yes, there is. It's Greg Sankey. I mean, it's him and the Big Ten commissioner. Like, those are the two guys that are everybody's following their lead.
Right. I mean, they're the biggest conferences. They had the most clout. They got the biggest TV, deals. Actually, Big Ten's is bigger, I think.
Yeah, their deal's bigger.
At this point in time. But the SEC's, championships, they've won the last 3, right? Different teams, but so their success is kind of usurping the TV deal, at least at this point in time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Sankey's he's got a lot of clout. Mm-hmm. But, I envision once all this, realignment and everything's over here in the next, 4 years, I'm going to just throw out a number. 4 years, I think Nick Saban's going to retire, and he's going to be the commissioner of whatever becomes the big 2 or 3, and then because everybody will respect him and listen to him. Yeah. And so you got to have somebody over it, because if not, then the entities are going to still kind of run the way they want to be run. So it's just kind of a guess where it's going. I have no idea, though.
Let's see.
Nick Saban may have something to say about it. Like, what? I'm still coaching. I'm good.
Coach 10 more years, Blaine. What are you talking about?
I'm good to go. Do you see me? I can still backpedal.
Coaching them DBs. Bill in Portland, first up today on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. What's going on, Bill in Portland?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, Blaine, I kind of wanted to ask you, just see what you think, being a former player.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 questions. One, do you think now that they're paying these players in college, is it going to even out where these recruits go so we don't see it all dumping in Alabama and in certain schools now? Maybe it'll be more competitive. And then, 2, do you feel like things would have been better for you in your playing days and the college days if you was able to get paid early going into the NFL? Would it have been of a less struggle for you as a college student? So I just want to hear what your opinion is. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question.
What was the first one?
Do you think that there being NIL now will mean like some recruits just all the 5-stars won't just go to Alabama? Maybe they'll go somewhere else because they could get them some money.
Well, in theory, all the SEC schools are part of this whole NIL. So I would think it would be more so spread out amongst those teams and all the other schools, other conferences that can do and provide those NIL deals. So, yeah, I think it'll be spread out. If not, then you'll see more people in the portal and then going to the other schools where they can play as well as get paid. Because ultimately, the bottom line is you have to play to get noticed. So getting paid is second tier. Some of these guys put it first, unfortunately, because of where their situation is, and that's unfortunate because that could then lead them down a road of a bad decision on a school, and then you're going to look like a bad player in that you're hopping around a school to school just to follow the money, and eventually you're never really getting on the field. So there's some good and bad to it. Obviously, even during my day, I think first of all, I think you need to hire people in staff at the universities to help educate the guys, and not to say that some guys are going to steal below the money, but to educate them about taxes or, how you should, some point save. You don't know if you're going to make it, have your, B, C, D plan if you don't get an opportunity to play in the National Football League or any other league that's out there. So I just think there's going to be there's going to be jealousy. It's going to be real world problems. I think it's going to be jealousy within the locker rooms. People can say it won't be, but it will be because somebody's getting paid. And then how much does that then give him the opportunity before you to get on the field if you're competing? Why is the number 2 quarterback getting paid and he doesn't play? And I'm the starting right guard. So all these things happen in the league. It's a little different in that, you get paid, because higher because it's 2 or 3 years later, even though you may not be better than another player at your same position. So I just think all those things are coming into play. And it's, in my opinion, I think coaches now are going to have to do a heck of a job of more so babysitting and coddling more because the players will leave And if they get upset, that's going to be the first thing that they do. They're going to threaten to leave. And then the coach is going to have to either pat them on the back and make them feel good about themselves, and then give them some attaboys, if I'm going to call it that, and play them and get their way to a certain extent, or you're going to lose out. And if not, they also have a voice, and they could say something to other players, maybe not there, but were there, that you could say that it's true that happened when you're experienced there. Because one thing that has happened, which is kind of crazy in a good way to a certain extent, is now players have voices, because all coaches aren't going to be honest about why a kid is leaving. And you can't assume that they're telling you the truth of why a kid is leaving. Oh, you could just say, oh, a freshman, he thought he was going to play right away. Well, did you not tell him that, though? So, he took you for your word, and it didn't happen. So, and the guy left. He may be third string, but, maybe you didn't want him with the program after you had him, or maybe he wasn't as good anyway. So all those things kind of play in it. It's never one story fits everyone. So I think, it would have helped a little bit, but I think not having all those resources actually helped make me who I am today. And when I say that, I'm talking about you had to manage your money. You had to make determinations and decisions, whether you're going to put some gas in your car or you're going to go to Indy 500 the weekend, not the Indy 500, but the Indy 500 that's IU, like a big old party that you're going to have, or are you going to go to this class, or you had to start making decisions with your money right then and there, or you're going to pay your rent. So I think all those things were very valuable, and now they're just going to have so much money. I think they're just going to waste it, and everybody's going to be just driving nice cars and just spending money, and then don't play, and eventually end up right back where they started.
Well, we won't end up right back where we started, but we will end up in segment 2 when we come back. Okay, what did Greg Sankey say, and what did I think he said to the little guys today? I'll tell you that, and we'll hear from Greg Sankey. And you, if you want to join us as well, 615-737-1045. It's Blaine and Mickey, and it is Monday. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. SEC Media Day is going on. So Lane Kiffin will be up, right, Lucas, in just a little bit. And Brian Kelly was up earlier and talked about his family and his food and football and living in the South and what that's like. And
going to some stadiums he's never played in. Yeah.
well, he's naming a bunch of them there.
I was like, oh.
He started with Auburn. Never been to Auburn before. Yeah, never been. He just started naming all the places never been. I'm like, hey, man, you go to these places, I don't think you're going to like them. Because they want you to leave there with an L. And I thought he was fairly diplomatic and all. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to welcome Texas and Oklahoma. This is going to be great. I'm like, man, the expectation, the cloud of expectation. And I know he was at Notre Dame. I get that. But
he may not be there in 2025, 2026, to be honest. I mean, man, at this point in time, man, they rotate them coaches around pretty quick. So if he doesn't have that thing on the right track come next season at this time, oh, man, they're going to be, man, I don't know who has the most pressure, but there's still pressure even being a first-year hire in the SEC, especially the dough that they laid out for him, too. So, yeah.
Speaking of expectations and dough, can I ask you guys this, and we'll get to Greg Sankey in just a second. At what point did the people at Texas A&M say, hey, man, you have to make a freaking playoff? You have to win your side of the SEC.
I've been saying this the last 3 years about Jimbo because of the money they gave him.
Oh.
Basically, they settled almost what they had before. Well, not quite that, but that if you look at the records, even you talked about it, the records are the same with Sumlin.
It's the same as Sumlin, right?
It's not that much difference.
You got the outlier is 9-1 in a COVID year, 2020, of a 10-game SEC schedule where your one loss is a blowout to Alabama, where you were not competitive in that game.
Yeah.
And there were gripes about A&M being left out of the college football playoff. I think they were the 5th team that year. But other than that, you're right. It's 8-4. It's 9-3. And you don't know who your quarterback is in 2022.
Who left and transferred to somewhere in the SEC?
Calzada transferred to Auburn. He started the Alabama game that they won last year. So you're looking at Max Johnson, an LSU transfer, Haynes King, and Connor Wegman, former Blue Chip recruit.
McKellen Mond was the starter for how long? 3 years?
Yeah, Mond, it felt like he was there forever. It was one of those, right?
He did a great job.
And even with that kind of continuity at quarterback, and it's not like they're bereft of talent. They got all kinds of talent. Matt Stinchcomb.
Now, who are you going to get better, though?
That's a great question.
So that's
what you got to have in the, well, should we fire him? Okay, well, who are we going to get better?
Because the standard's still going to be, you got to take down Saban. And he can say he's done it.
He can now say that he's done it. He's in the select few. But it's like, yeah, but then who'd they lay an egg against last year? I mean,
they lost to Mississippi State.
Okay.
Yeah.
They lost to LSU in the last game of Ed Orgeron's career in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
So there were some losses that you look at that game against Alabama that you just can't explain if you're Texas A&M. I agree. If it's another 8-4, 9-3 type thing, then the pressure really starts to mount. You say, hey, man, it's been worked through half of this 10-year contract we gave you. We're not any closer to the playoff.
Matt Stinchcomb, who Don Davenport has been on like a SEC game team with him. They broadcast a bunch of games together. He played at Georgia, knows the league. At one point, he told us, and I'll never forget this quote, and Stinch knows the SEC. I mean, he played in it. He covers it. He said, Texas A&M is building a Death Star, like Star Wars. We're like, Death Star? What do you mean? He's like, they have so much money. And he talked about, like, even when they travel to games, they don't just like get there on Friday evening and check into the hotel and have a meal and a walkthrough and go to their meetings. And then he said that like they go there a day early and just set up everything, have class. He said they're doing things so much different and spending so much more money than anybody else. Well, I can tell you, Southern people spending money for football and getting no results, nobody's more mad than the angry Southern booster who's not getting what they want for the money that they're spending.
Right. They're getting results. They're just not getting the results that they want, and they thought, they're bang for their buck. So they expect elite, and he's giving them close to that, but he's coming up, short in some, head knockers or head scratchers on some of the losses. So, I think I've been saying it probably the last 3 years because I really felt like if you were going to make that move and let someone go, then you need to get somebody in. Initially, he was the exact same, and then finally got over the hump by beating Saban. I think he's probably win-loss record maybe just 1 or 2 ahead of Sumlin. over his time frame
you
or
remember-
winning percentage.
Right. Remember, people tweeted, and like you said, it was the exact same at the same point. They were the exact same.
You know, and I get it. He's got a national title under his belt and everything else, but comes all that loot that he got comes a lot of pressure. So, and you're supposed to win sooner than later. So it'll be interesting to see what's their take at this point in time, especially with Texas moving in.
Yeah.
So in the next 2 years, with Texas coming in, if he's not where they want, they will probably make a move that way because if they lost to Texas, they would be pissed. Y'all followed us, see, because Texas is kind of the bigger brand. Well, A&M kind of risen to that level, being in the SEC now, especially in football.
Yep. Someone had a better year one than Jimbo's had at any point so far in College Station. Won 11 games in year one.
Stop it. So who had a better winning percentage at this point in time?
I'll have to look at that. Let me look at the record real
Because
quick.
they coached different amount of years, correct? But, yeah. Summerlin was too bad. Where's he coaching it now? In the XFL? Or is he in the USFL? He was coaching somewhere. I saw him in
One of the
leagues.
FLs.
The
Yes,
FL.
it's not, that doesn't have an end before it.
Yeah, he was in the USFL. Oh, okay. Your league, Mickey.
Oh, I'm all about that. Okay.
Oh, man. Okay.
So
Man, Summerlin was he.
So Sumlin went 11-2 in year one, then 9-4, 8-5, 8-5, 8-5, 7-5.
And that's what they killed him. The 8-5s, and then you come back with a 7 when they're like, nope, time to go.
No can do.
Mm-hmm. We can get better than that.
Jimbo is 9-4, 8-5. The year that Lucas mentioned, 9-1 in the pandemic year, where their only loss was to Bama. Then 8-4, and then, well, that's it. 8-4 last year.
Yeah, so he comes back with an 8-4 this year. I think people will be a little perturbed. And his win percentage is what compared to Sumlin? As you read all the 8s with Sumlin, they were like, nope. Then the last year was 7.
He's 34-14, and Sumlin was 51-26.
Yeah, so someone won about half his games in his whole career, and so far Jimbo's won about 60%.
Man, that doesn't sound like 50% for Sumlin. What is Sumlin's again?
No, I was 51-26 there.
Yeah,
Oh,
51
yeah,
and 26.
never mind.
What are you
So
talking
he
about, bro?
basically won, 3/4 of his games.
Right, so he's above.
Yeah, math is not my strength. He won
Yeah.
66% of his games.
Sumlin did?
Correct.
Okay, so what's Jimbo? We're counting on you because math, don't throw it out here to me.
Yeah, this is a dangerous game.
Oh, wow.
Jimbo's 71.
Okay,
by
so
my
it's
calculations.
66 and 71.
Okay. And for what you're paying him and for what you're paying everybody and for what you're doing, you're getting 5 more percentage points and no appearances into anything.
Now, the game has changed a little bit with all the NIL, too, but that should help them with the boatloads of buckets of money they got.
Yeah, recruiting at a level someone never did.
Yeah.
Right.
And to me, that makes it even hey, man, we're paying these people for you. We're getting you exactly who you want. If you can't win with these people, we're going to find somebody who can. And I know who you can better, but you know how college football people are. We'll find somebody better. Oh, we'll find somebody. Sometimes it seems like teams will sometimes sit on a basketball coach like, who are we going to get better? Football? Nope, we'll find somebody better. It's football, man. We'll find somebody better. We call Blaine Bishop.
Yeah,
He coached up these DBs.
I don't know, man. You know what? We forgot to congratulate all the guys from Tennessee, Belmont, and Vanderbilt that got drafted in the Major League Baseball draft, too, by the way. Congratulations to all those guys.
Local guys?
Yeah, and then Rocker coming back the second time, getting third pick.
Third pick.
So that was pretty unique. That was kind of surprising for me. I was sitting there, oh, dang.
My ding dong of the week is involving Tracy Rocker. Or not Tracy Rocker, Kumar Rocker.
What?
It's not Kumar, but
Oh.
it's the whole situation.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, what? Yeah, I mean, he third overall pick to the rank, and now he gets to go pitch with Jack Leiter again. They
I
just
saw
are
you.
right
Did you
back-
tweet that out?
No, Jack Leiter tweeted that the video of the two little kids running towards each other that gets used for everything, and it was he and Rocker. We're back
Yeah.
together again.
Oh man, so that was unique. But I know Belmont, the guy Lipscomb, Gilbert, Beck. I'm trying to name off the top of my head, but from the UT, they were drafted. So
Yeah, Jordan Beck and Drew Gilbert were
Right.
the two Tennessee players that have been taken. I saw Trey Lipscomb
He just went earlier.
He just got his name called, yeah.
And one of the Tennessee pitchers, I think, got drafted like right as we were coming on.
Lipscomb is a Nationals player. Kumar Rocker to the Rangers, like you said. Center fielder for Tennessee, Drew Gilbert, 28th overall by the Astros, and Jordan Beck with the Rockies, 38th overall.
Yeah.
You think Jordan Beck's going to like it in Colorado?
Yeah, he might like it there.
The guy Lipscomb just got drafted, too, from Belmont.
Yeah.
He's an outfielder. I'm not sure if he's left or right, but so, yeah.
Yeah, my friend's son plays with him and could not stop telling me like how great of a player he was.
Yeah, Franklin High School product.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, Guy Lipscomb.
Shout out to my guy, Shacklet. Yeah, he made sure that I got that info.
Oh, that's man.
Because his Cars is a player there as well. He's doing really good.
Well, Middle Tennessee. I mean, you start thinking all the great football players come here. Look how many baseball people get to. I mean, look at what this place is doing for baseball people.
Ben Joyce to the Angels. That's the Tennessee pitcher. Just got taken.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's do this because I teased it, and I know we got a little bit of time here. So Greg Sankey, I was telling you, I think he had a message for the little people, and the message was, well, let's play this, and then I'll tell you what I think the message was.
The two babies in the lighter rocker?
It was not them.
Oh.
There is a complexity of issues that doesn't lend itself to the easy button and not necessarily to immediate resolution. And so those issues include the need for a meaningful membership process, dealing with enforcement and infractions issues where college athletes face uncertainty and penalties related to actions that may have taken place when they were in junior high or elementary school. We have a rule book that simply grows and grows and grows. We have a governance process that has key committees and councils populated by participants who rarely, if ever, speak, and who are being asked to make important national policy decisions when they may not have that same authority on their day-to-day work context on campus. We have a bureaucratic process that leaves issues languishing for months or for years. Again, it's correct. We can't go on as we are. We're making progress on those issues. In August, the Division I Board of Directors will receive a report which won't solve every problem, but will deal with issues around enhancing the student-athlete experience, modernizing the transfer rules, dealing with that rule book and trying to reduce it, and refining that infractions process with a focus on bringing matters to conclusion in a timely manner. And then as we look at the fall, we're going to have some difficult issues around membership. That issue was not created by the 5 conferences labeled the autonomy conferences or by FBS. It was assigned to the Transformation Committee by the Division I Board. We're going to have to determine how to make effective decisions in Division I. And there are incredible disparities around revenue, around expenses, around support, and around expectations in this division. It makes it difficult to ensure the presence of—
So that's Greg Sankey. He goes on a little bit more, but I know we're kind of up against it. So when he's talking about people are in these committee meetings who don't make any decisions on this level, and they're making decisions that affect us at our level?
Oh, let me clarify, because I'm a direct guy, unfortunately. So that means like somebody could be like Ball State there, sitting there saying, we're going to make these decisions. They go, what's your revenue? Or are you having any of these issues? So how could you understand what we're doing? So those are the little people you are referring to, Mickey.
Yes, I am.
So how does that happen? And see, that's where I go. How does that happen when they can't actually even relate and understand the actual situation? And it happens in other businesses. I mean, you could be over, administrator over a whole bunch of nurses and you have no nursing background. I mean, I get it, but that's not supposed to happen. There's supposed to be somebody in that room, pretty much everybody in the room, that understands what, the athletes are going through at the NCAA level, and they have no idea.
And that's what he's saying. Like, I'm tired of a little guy making decisions that affect us.
Uh-oh. So then here's what he's saying. He then gets his boots on and goes, hey, if this continues, we will go and make our own set of rules. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
And then we'll just stop all this craziness that y'all talking about that makes no sense.
Here's an example of some of the names on the transformation committee. Jerry Beggs, faculty athletics representative from Illinois State University.
Woo, yeah, go Redbirds.
John DeGioia, the president of Georgetown. Dean Bresciani, the president
Hoyas.
of North Dakota State. Javon Adams Gaston. These are some crazy names.
Gaston.
The president of Norfolk State University.
Oh, I don't know that.
And you.
And
you're Greg
talking to the
Sankey.
commissioner of the SEC?
Hey,
man. Matter of fact, he said that really nicely. I would have been like,
I thought he was super diplomatic in the way that he said it, but he said it.
oh, man.
Hey, Blaine nailed it. His thing was like, and the other thing about the revenue discretions and the expectation, the discretions of expectations, where he's saying like, hey, man, we're only competing for national championships here and everything. Some of y'all ain't doing that. So here's the deal, NCAA, you're going to hire somebody new to run this thing. If he doesn't let us run our own affairs, we'll run our own affairs. You can have everything that's left. We'll be right back. Yeah.
Drop it like it's hot.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Lane Kiffin is actually at the podium right now. Let's check in live. This is courtesy of the SEC Network. Lane Kiffin live at the podium.
I think there's a difference when you look at offense and defensive coaches. I feel like when you look at the defensive coaches that leave there, usually like the Georgia blueprint, basically take everything and move it there. And because that's a big part about Alabama's program, whatever year you were there, the defense was the same and it hasn't changed for the most part. And I think the offensive head coaches leave, whoever, Billy or Sark or Locks, and the program looks a little different because they usually have their own offensive flair that they end up running. But I'm sure everybody probably takes, I would think, his organization, his commitment to the program, and try to model his discipline that he has within that.
Which we're going to go down here to our right-hand side, second row.
Charles Odom with the Associated Press. You mentioned right off the top the importance of the transfer portal and filling some holes on your roster this year. I'm wondering, in the last year, what changes have you seen in your discussions with potential transfers of the NIL, and what do you think the coach's role should be in that whole discussion?
Well, what should the coach's role be in that discussion? I mean, I think ideally, if we're going to be in an NIL world and somehow you're going to do it right and it's going to get capped, so that there's some way of controlling it and keeping playing fields close to the same. Otherwise, you're just going to have these glaring differences within Division I football based off of what I've said before, their salary cap. I know it's not really the right word. And ideally, I would think that the coach should be part of managing that. That's how you would want it done, but I don't know if it'll be that way or whatever. So that's just how I would do, and that's based off of look what happens in professional sports. There's salary caps, and the coach and the general manager / owner manage that.
Coach, we're going to go right in front of me.
Because the other thing about that too is if it's not, I would say, okay, well, why would you put it that way when coaches aren't supposed to be involved in that? Well, you got a whole other set of problems. If you got boosters out there deciding who they're going to pay to come play and the coach isn't involved in it, how's that work? I mean, they could just go pick who they want and pay them however much, and then are they going to tell you, the boosters going to tell you who to play to? And then when they don't play, how's that going to work out? So, again, this was not thought out at all, in my opinion, and has created a massive set of issues, which I think when people really thought about it, from a coach's standpoint, could have predicted this was going to happen.
All right, we'll go straight down in front of me, 3 rows back. Lane.
Right here. Lane Kiffin. This is Lane Higgins from the Wall Street Journal.
Cool.
I had a question for you a little bit about recruiting and how it has kind of changed to be, more of a photo shoot or a, experience. And you've had, Rolls Royces on campus. You obviously have a very cute sidekick and Juice. Can you talk a little bit about, why you've chosen to kind of implement those things and kind of lean into that aspect of college football, even though it's, very much has nothing to do with what the actual product on the field's going to be?
Because I think for you guys that have been around me or listened to me, we don't sit around and complain how things are and how they should be. Yeah, ideally, shouldn't be picking places off of what your photo shoot is or what car they're taking pictures in. There's a lot of things that I wish were different, but it is what it is. Just like Coach Saban wants rules changed about hurry-up offense. Well, he adapted. So we don't sit around and worry about that. I think we try to be creative. We kind of have a saying, we don't think outside the box, we just create a new box. And so if that's what kids care about and look at, then, we don't do things the way they were done before. And I think that's how we would operate anywhere, but especially at Ole Miss, you need to be that way to have a chance. So like the commissioner, I didn't wear a tie today. And he's like, man, I've always wanted to do that. I'm like, well, don't just do things the way they were before. He's like, I was waiting for someone to do it. So maybe the commissioner won't have a tie next year. Because why are we supposed to wear a tie? Just because it was done before? Doesn't really matter.
All right, we're going to go midway through this mid-aisle. Learn on the aisle.
Hi, Lane. Aaron Gershon from the Cats Paws in Lexington. Kentucky is the cross-divisional game this year. What do you remember about that matchup a few years ago in 2020, and what's impressed you with how much that program has changed since when you saw them at Tennessee?
One day they're going to make you guys stand up because half the time I have no idea who's asking the question, so I just look around. So that was a great game at Kentucky. We were brand new. That was the strange COVID year. So not only was it our first year, but we didn't have a spring ball, and all of a sudden we're playing games. And what a crazy game to go down to the wire like that. Coach Stoops has done an unbelievable job. At a place that isn't traditionally winning 8, 9, 10 games. So I always think that's really cool and special when someone can do that. And like I said before, doing things better than they've been done before, and I would think he's probably in the best run of the school, I would guess. So we'll have a set of challenges there. He's very good on defense and very complicated, and I know they've had really good success running the ball, and we're very creative offensively, watching some of their games last year, and did a great job, especially with some NFL.
Lane Kiffin from SEC Media Days, and the first question where he was talking about, he does this and this, Lucas told us he was talking about Nick Saban, so that's when we started that. So he was talking about, but
that's why his hands were moving a lot.
Yes,
he's trying to be,
and Lucas was like, look at him, he's even acting like Nick Saban, and of course he started talking about NIL, and he literally said everything that you've been saying the whole time, like, oh, so that guy doesn't even play, and he makes more money than me. Like what you said earlier, real world problems.
Yeah, real world problems.
So
and
that guy's
the booster's gonna be like, hey, I gave you that money. Why isn't he playing?
He's second string. He's not getting second string money.
Oh man, it's going down an viable way in this territory that we have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yep.
I'm anxious to see what happens though. But they can't stop it. This train has started.
Oh gosh,
and it's revving. Whoop, whoop.
Think about just a few years ago when Ohio State, when all those guys got in trouble over free tattoos.
Yeah, that's, and I said at the time, I thought that was laughable.
Free tattoos.
Yeah, really?
Such a scandal, too.
Free tattoos. People made it out to be a scandal.
Yeah.
Free tattoos.
I mean, that ended the Jim Tressel era.
It ended Jim Tressel's era. Or like a kid who would get an extra pair of basketball shoes and sell them, and they would trace it back to he sold those shoes. Like that kid committed some kind of crime. I mean, really? And that's what led us here, to the floodgates just opening right up. So if you don't like it, just remember everybody who griped about a free tattoo or a kid who has nothing selling an extra pair of shoes so he could go to a movie with his girlfriend or, just have anything. Send the money home to his family, whatever he was doing with it. Yeah. People were all PO'd about that.
Yep, I wasn't.
I was not either.
'Cause I didn't want this to happen. Yep. It's about to be called college, but it's going to be really semi-pro.
Yep.
NFL. That's what it's about to be. At least for these big programs, that's for sure.
Sure. I mean, when the Big Ten starts getting, $200 million per school or whatever they're talking about. Okay.
What?
Well, at that point, it's like, okay, at that point, if I'm the captain of the team, I walk down the hall and go, how much of that are we making? How much of that are we making? What? Tell me what our cut is. Honestly, I think every player that plays in a bowl game, people are like, bowl games are worthless. I think everybody that plays in a bowl game should get money from ESPN because they own all the bowls. And I don't care if you're from Ball State or you're from Tennessee, I think everybody should get a cut. If you play in the Bluebonnet Bowl or the Poulan Weed Whacker Bowl or whatever it is.
The GoDaddy.
GoDaddy. Oh, yeah, of course, the GoDaddy.
Yeah, GoDaddy. Yeah, we'll meet there again sometime.
100% we will.
That would be hilarious if both of us on the sideline.
Oh, we're going down there. We're doing the show. We did meet in the GoDaddy Bowl once. State got them. They got those Cardinals.
Oh,
they got them on the last play of the game.
Oh,
the Blaine and Mickey Bowl.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
We're going to see who's the real red, white, and blue. No.
Red, black.
Black.
Yeah, red and black. All right. Real hour number 2 is coming up. Emmett is on the line. He has a Titans question.
Oh, Emmett Smith?
I don't know what it is. Emmett, if you hold, we will get to you in the next segment. I promise. This is what we're talking about. We will talk to you next. We'll take Emmett's question, give you an update on what's going on. Lane Kiffin talking. Greg Sankey said some stuff. We'll tell you about all that next.
It is 2:03. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. Coverage continues from the College Football Hall of Fame down in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. Commissioner Greg Sankey spoke earlier today before LSU head coach Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin, having just wrapped up Eli Drinkwitz of Mizzou, the last coach left on the board for today. Of course, 3HL will be broadcasting live from Atlanta through Thursday, presented by Brentwood Hearing. The MLB draft continues. The latest Vandy boy to be taken, Dominic Keegan, is going to the Tampa Bay Rays with the 134th overall pick in the 4th round. As for Tennessee, the most recent pick, number 89, right-handed pitcher Ben Joyce to the Angels. He is the 5th Vol drafted this year. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. SEC Media Days going on. Greg Sankey has spoken. Brian Kelly has spoken. Lane Kiffin has spoken. Lane Kiffin getting deep into NIL stuff. And it was interesting because it sounds like he's saying they need reform. And Greg Sankey spoke a long time today about NIL. You actually have that? So you think it's on your mind? It's on everybody's mind. This is what Greg Sankey said about it.
Concerns up front was that we not do this state by state. We need uniformity. That feeds in to our ability to have national competition during the regular season and support national championships. And so the notion of some oversight, transparency, regulation of the market, I think, is exactly what helps everyone. And I'm convinced, regulated or unregulated, we can do well, but I think the unregulated market creates a set of problems for the people involved, whether it's young people and their families trying to make decisions, the potential for long-term life entanglements and deals that aren't understood and evaluated, the lack of support, the taxation that comes. But we've also allowed it to enter into the recruiting space in a really weird way, and I think that needs to be made healthier than it is right now.
That's a lot that he said right there. Stuff that we've been talking about now for months on this show.
Man, entanglement and really ultimately it's really people to a certain extent taking advantage of the young kids. Now they're getting a piece of the pie, so nobody can say they're walking away with nothing. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they're still going to be paid commodities. Some may and may not be, but that may not lead you down a road of success as far as making big money and going to the league. And I think that's the perception with that. And if you get all this, it's all based off of your high school career. Some of these guys going to get some money and then become just good players in college. And some won't be very good. And then naturally, some of them will be really good. So I think it could lead down some whole different rabbit holes of mental health and things of that nature because you feel unaccepted that you didn't perform or you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and ultimately you had already peaked at your talent. So it's a totally different roads you can go down and for success or not. But definitely agree with Sankey that you got to have uniform rules across the board. I don't even care if it's like each position group. Like the rumors of whatever quarterback's getting $7 million. I don't even like hearing that, to be honest. I think there should be a cap for each position. Maybe $1 million is the biggest cap. Maybe for quarterbacks, maybe O-line or is a certain number. And then you're in tiers, and maybe you base it off of whatever star you are. I don't know. But come up with some uniform way that you're recruiting the guys with the NIL deal. And that way it's all somewhat the same. And then you move forward from there and then try to see where they fit in the box. I don't have all the answers. Naturally, I would probably be on some of those boards, but they better get this done sooner than later, and it's probably going to be later because I think they want it uniformly done by the government. That way they don't have to do state by state, and that's going to be a process unless they make it number one uno agenda from the government to do that. So I don't know if they're going to actually do that. So it could be 2 years down the road. So they got to continue with this process and try to figure it out and what they should and shouldn't do for certain players. And naturally, the more talent you have, the more they're going to do for you, obviously, if they think you can bring that to the program.
And it goes back to something you said earlier. nobody's in charge. Because you were saying, let Nick Saban retire in a couple of weeks, put him in charge. He'd be no nonsense about this stuff. Yeah. What'd I say?
Weeks.
Couple of years. Couple of years, not a couple of
Definitely
weeks.
not a couple of weeks.
Not a couple of weeks. He's got
I'm
some
sure
more
most
games to
people will
win.
be excited about that.
Everybody else in the SEC is like, please let him return a couple of weeks. Yeah, a couple of years. And you said, he'd be a no-nonsense guy. People respect his decision.
Mm-hmm.
Make him the commissioner of college football.
Do his homework and encourage and had us an open mind to maybe some of the things that they'll be interested in doing outside of what, he already knows. So, yeah.
Cousin Andrew said, no, let it be a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Derek says, get the bag now, players, before they regulate it. All right, we got to.
No doubt. That's what they better.
Oh, like Nico? Hey, man, yeah, I'll take all of it up front. However, as soon as I get there and it's all legal, I'll take it all up front.
All up front, they ain't giving it all up front.
I take all of it up front I could get.
And guess what? He may not start for the first year or two. So what kind of return on investment is that? I'm like, man, that ain't, man, I've watched him now a little bit. I'm like, I see what they see.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, he's a really elite volleyball player.
Yep.
That string bean that he got as an arm, he better go start eating. He may start eating some of that same stuff Chig be eating. Because that's all I see is a twig about to get broke. If not, he better start going eating some ham hocks or something, man, because that body looks very frail. But, man, what a talented, gifted arm that he has, though. No doubt about it.
I like it all up front. All of it.
Yeah,
all up front.
I'll be like, you get $1 million a year if it's true, whatever the $7-8 million. Like,
I enrolled today. Here's my Venmo.
It has to be tiered because what if he transfers? Can't give it up to him up front, man. You don't know that won't happen.
I want it all up
2
front.
years from now, somebody could have beat him out and we don't even know, and then he got it all up front. No, it's got to be tiered year to year. You on a team for a year? Okay, cool. We'll give you this. No way.
I'll take this year up front. Here's my Venmo.
That's a tough negotiation right there, man.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Want it up front. I need some new pajama pants. All right. We got NIL calls. We got Emmett in Nashville.
He does wear a lot.
He does wear pajama pants. Him and Lucas. Lucas has got them on right now.
707.
All right. Let's get a couple of these NIL calls, and let's get Emmett, who has just been waiting patiently forever as well. KT on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. What's up, KT?
What's going on? How y'all doing, fellas?
You tell us.
We're doing great, man.
Oh, man, listen, my take on this NIL is, man, pay them kids, man. Pay those kids. I love it. You can no longer just say, come to my school for tradition and you're going to get a great education and all. Man, listen, that's what's opening up the playing field. And that's what makes a lot of these old heads pretty upset about it. Because now I have to be able to compete money-wise. It's no longer just, this is Bama. That is our opening statement. That's our open line. This is Bama. This is Auburn. This is Georgia. This is whoever. Now it's more open, and these kids do a lot of hard work, man. They work harder than most people do in a 24-hour day. They do it before 6 a.m. Nobody really talks about that. And then you're telling them you're getting a great education for an interdisciplinary studies degree, and you can't do nothing with that degree when you graduate. But I made you eligible to play. That was it. That's all I had to do. Man, pay these kids, man. I'm out, man.
All right, KT.
Yeah. And I agree with it to a certain extent. I think he would be a little more free-willed than me, but just based off his conversation there. But I think all the kids, but I still feel like there should be limitations on that. The money has gotten too big now with the TV deals, as you were just mentioning. If one school is getting $200 million per school in a conference, who's doing the work now, in all honesty? And, by the way, this is the part that will really upset you. The kids can't work during the season or during the school year. Right. You can work in the off season, summertime. But you got to hit those workouts. Mm-hmm. And then most of you are in summer school. So then this is why, then if you don't make it, you graduate. If you graduate with a degree, to the caller's point, whatever that degree is, you have no experience doing anything else. Meanwhile, all the regular students who are actually paying their tuition are doing internships, getting job experience 3-4 years down the road, and then you're already behind the 8 ball, and probably, not to take anything away, you may have to go work at a restaurant or maybe a fitness club or whatever it may be to get some experience on your resume. So you walk in there just like when you walked out with no experience. That's the hard part for most athletes. Because to me, that's why I said I would have tested them during the spring. Oh, okay, yeah, go get a job. See how many of them will go work. Especially after you're dropping $5,000 a month. What? I'm not going to work, man. That's my work right there. So it's I call that the bamboozle. They think they're getting over because of they're manipulating them, but at the same time, they're losing the long game. And the long game is got to plan on that you're not going to make it to the next level. And what is that next level going to look like for you, whether it's plan B, C, or D, and getting a job?
Let's take Emmett's question. Then we'll come back. We'll take more phone calls, 615-737-1045. We have Ding Dong of the Week. We got it all coming up. But Emmett has been holding forever. He has a Titans question. Let's try to handle this business first. Emmett, thank you for your patience.
Emmett, you're still the best running back, man. I know I said Barry Smith.
Emmett Smith.
Hey, man, it's an honor. I'll wait till 3 o'clock to talk to you, Ray.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, but I got a question for you. When the Titans drafted Willis, the first thing that came to my mind was Vince Young, and I know you haven't seen Willis yet, and no pads and nothing like that. But can you make a comparison between the two, like right now? And the second question is what? And you kind of touched on it a little like a month ago. But what really was the problem with Vince Young and Jeff Fisher? Did Floyd Reese want him and Jeff Fisher didn't want him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was it.
Because Vince was, man, on the cover of Madden 08, national title winner, clearly better than Matt Leinart, had all the leadership qualities and everything. But I think he just didn't have no wide receivers, man. I mean, Kenny Britt, he couldn't rely on him. But
Emmett, thank you for the phone call, man. Thank you.
Yeah, real quick, briefly, from my sources, I mean, people I've talked to, that wasn't Jeff Fisher's first choice. He wanted Matt Leinart, being a USC guy. But VY came in and did a really good job. Now, I think he was concerned more about the maturity level of VY after having some success. So I think that was really the issue once he was there. There was also, they were trying to keep him in the pocket. He wasn't, staying in the pocket. So they try to make him into something that he wasn't at some point. But the onus really goes back to him, in my opinion, because he's actually the player on the field. You can decide to play the way you want to play and no fear. So when I say that, I'm put that same question to Steve McNair. And I would say that he says, okay. And then he says, well, I'm on the field. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it because that's the way I'm comfortable. So I'm going to do it the best way I know how. Mm-hmm. And so when they try to say keep him in the pocket, he was running all over the place and throwing over the place. So it ultimately it's the player. What was his first question? Oh, Willis versus VY. I don't see them as the same player, to be honest. VY is a 6'5" guy. Willis is more of a 6-foot guy, thicker build guy. Now, their traits may be somewhat similar. They have big arms. VY came from a big program, won the Heisman. Did he win the Heisman? No, he did not win the Heisman.
He didn't. A lot of people thought he should have. He got the championship.
Right, yeah, and Matt Leinart won the Heisman. But so I just think they're a little bit different in their build and structure. Willis really didn't start, as we had a guest on, quarterback into a senior in high school. He played all the other positions because he was such a phenomenal athlete. But I think the development, to the caller's point, is somewhat similar in their developing their games and going through progression reads and, whatever, Freeze or whoever's in that style of offense with the one-side read have to go through a huge mental development of going through their progression reads in the National Football League, which is what Hypo runs too as well. Cut the field in half and just read one side of the field. And then there's really no progression because you know where you're actually going to throw the football because the defense is already lined up because you're hurrying up the offense. So tough one, but I think Willis eventually in a couple years will be a solid player. I don't know if he'll ever be a great starter, but I think for sure he can be a good backup.
Yeah. Robert is on the line. You want to join him, 615-737-1045. Ding Dong of the Week coming up. Do we have something to give away? Is that right? So
yes,
if you want, okay, just stay tuned. We got something to give away for in exchange for your Ding Dong. It's coming up next.
What?
Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone. Time for Ding Dong of the Week. We do this each and every Monday, courtesy of our friend, Mr. Mark Spain. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Or as we like to say, don't be a ding dong, use Mark Spain. So here's what we got. Lucas called the prize headquarters downstairs and said, we need a prize for best ding dong of the week. And it's Joe Bonamassa tickets. He's like Guitar Hero guy. Tuesday, August 2nd. So you want to try to win these tickets, just show up and have the best ding dong. It's simple. That's it. That's all you got to do.
This sounds like this is perfect that you have Lane Kiffin on this picture here, Lucas, there on the Blaine and Mickey account on Twitter for the ding dong segment. Because he has definitely gone down the road of a ding-dong numerous times throughout his coaching career.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, I think he's finally figured it out, though. Social media's helped him because there's so much stuff out there.
When he said that, I thought that game was about to be a barn burner.
It was not. Narrator, it was not.
Oh, my.
Let's get Eric will lead us off as he does, and we'll share our ding dongs. You can share one in the Zone TV chat. That'll count on Twitter at Blaine and Mickey, of course, on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, 615-737-1045, trying to win these Joe Bonamassa tickets. Eric will lead us off. Eric, tell us about your ding dong.
Hey, guys, before I get my ding-dong, nothing against your prize. The reason I was going to tell you to take me out of the running, I'm actually going to have surgery the first week in August.
Oh, no.
So I'm pretty much going to be laid up for the entire month of August. I'm having replacement hip surgery, so the earliest I'm going to be up and around is probably sometime around about Labor Day, so you can take me out of the running. But I'm going to give you my ding-dong anyway, guys.
Give it to us.
My ding-dong has got to go to WWE Creative and Vince McMahon. And the reason being is for the last two Friday Night SmackDown shows, for what they did as a stupid angle. So first of all, on Friday, July the 8th, they were supposed to have a match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. And by the way, both of those guys now reside here in Nashville. And Sheamus backs out of the match. He starts coughing. He says he can't wrestle Drew McIntyre because he has COVID. And then for the second week, and this was this past fight on the 15th, they had another angle. It was the opening segment where Pat McAfee cuts a promo talking about how he's going to beat up Baron Corbin for him attacking him after the last pay-per-view. So Corbin then comes on the Jumbotron and says that he's going to beat him up some more at the SummerSlam pay-per-view, but he can't do it right now. He can't come out and face him because he's suffering from monkeypox. And I said, really, guys, you're going down that storyline, doing those two angles, COVID and monkeypox? I mean, what's next? Are you going to say somebody can't wrestle somebody because of leprosy? That's just a ridiculous storyline to be going down, guys. And you got to come up with better ideas like that. But I guess Vince McMahon just doesn't care, considering all the trouble he's facing. Guys, that's my ding-dong, the WWE Creative. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, it's not the most creative. That's for sure. All right, Joe Bonamassa tickets on the line. Again, Alonzo says hip surgery. Yeah, Eric, get well soon, man. That's scary stuff. All right, 615-737-1045.
I got one.
We will share ours, and would love to have you share yours. Blaine Bishop, what you got?
Man, an NFL player shows up overweight. Usually a 228, 25 guy. He shows up at 260. What the heck is going on with you, ding to the dong? And his name is? You are now part of the family, Leonard Fournette. What are you doing, bro? You trying to get Tom Brady killed? Maybe he says he's gonna lose weight during training camp.
That's what people used to do in the 70s.
Right. They do
when
not
they
do
smoked and had another job.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that, oh my gosh, I was in the locker room when a guy did that. One player pulled out a cigarette, and I looked at him like he was a ghost. Eugene Seal. I said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm smoking a cigarette." I said, "Do what?" "Yeah, man." "Oh, okay, bye." Bye. In the locker room in training camp. I said, that dude won't be here long. That was his last year there. No, that was his last. He might have played that year, but that was it.
But he played like 6 years in the league.
Yeah, well, he was part of that old school. They said they got to get rid of that. He was the only person. Like, man, what is this dude doing? So that's about as ding-dong as Leonard Fournette coming in at 260, man.
260. And he's gotten like another lease on life after blowing it out in, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Got a new lease on life.
I wonder,
260.
I wonder if he was working out for a long period of time and then just decided, oh, okay, well, we about to start camp. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to this game weight. He had to sit on the couch.
Do you think maybe he's got a glandular problem or something? Like maybe digestive issues?
I don't know. He had this issue a little bit, I think, even with Jacksonville 1 year. Wasn't a big talk about it, because it was Jacksonville.
Just don't make cares.
But for this to pop up now, I'm not happy. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on, bro? Especially if I'm Tom Brady. I'm like, hey, man, I can have my TB12 guy give you a call here in a little bit.
100%.
Oh, you can get 15 off in a matter of a week the way we practice. Matter of fact, you'll be a game weight. It'll just fall off of you. Oh, okay, cool. I knew you'd take care of me.
Tom Brady's like, hey, whether you want it or not, this is Phil from the TB12 team. He's going to follow you around. He's going home with you today. If you got any white bread or Snickers bars or dairy, he's going to throw it all. He's got a trash bag with him. He's going to replace it all with broccoli. So just get ready. This ain't going to be pretty.
Did they give him the bag? Lucas, how much did they give him a new? I think he didn't sign a 1-year deal. Did he sign a 3-year deal?
It was a short-term deal.
It was? Because I thought he had an offer from somebody else, and then Tampa Bay stepped up.
It's 3 years, $21 million.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
that's good money.
Mm-hmm. $7 million.
Yeah.
$7 million per is nothing to sneeze at for a running back in this NFL.
35 pounds overweight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, let's just give him 30. Dude.
Yeah, for a running back at this point in his career, too.
Yeah.
What are you, man? I would be hot as fish grease.
He's 27.
I would be looking at that cross-eyed. I wouldn't even be looking him in the face. I'd be like, dude, you better get out of my face. And I'm gonna go chew out the running back coach. Like, how did you not?
How'd you let this happen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you talking to him, we know he's shown a pattern. This now he got the bread. He chilling.
Lonzo said he's got an eating problem.
Watch what I would do. I would have this dude running after practice. He would just hate me. Like, yeah, we gotta get you ready. You are starting running back.
No, Leonard, hey man, you go come out here and grab a couple more reps. Hey, no, come on back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going in yet. Don't take your jersey off.
Leave them pads. Matter of fact, you can run with your helmet on.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strap up your chin strap, Lenny.
We ain't on vacation.
Yeah, man. You've been vacationing on one of those all-you-can-eat cruises.
Make sure everybody watching. Try me. That's what it says. Try me. Hey, man, we talking about grown man contracts, money, and decisions, and you gonna do this? Hey, man, you trying to get me fired? Because I can get you fired before you get me fired.
100%. Your contract's not guaranteed, Lynn. I don't know what's guaranteed on it.
Come on, Leonard.
All right, Ding Dong of the Week. Call 615-737-1045. Let's get, is this Tops
that sound like
in Franklin?
Lucas would do that.
What you got there for us?
Well, my ding dong of the week is all the people that surrounded Cameron Martin when he won the Open. Somebody should have told him mullets ended right at the end of the 70s. It just seemed so odd. I thought I was in Hickman County going fishing when he took that hat.
All right, let's put him on hold. Let's hold on to him there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Cameron Smith.
Oh, man. I don't know, man, but I think that's going to be the winner.
No, that was in Hickman County. Let's give Joe in Goodlettsville a shot at this as well.
Hey, I saw that picture of you. Did you have a mullet? Did you post
I
it
did.
there?
Somebody said that's no mullet. If you look, you can see it. I was trying to kind of push it back, and I was trying to be classy.
Oh, okay.
Joe in Goodlettsville, what you got, man?
Yeah, I was just wondering, mine for the week is, did you guys not, or just not, cut Emmitt Smith off in the middle of a conversation?
No, Joe.
That's what we got to quit joking about. That's my fault.
No, Joe. That was just that was a gentleman named Emmett who was a caller.
He always calls in. Yeah, it went to Emmitt
Yeah,
Smith.
it was not Emmitt Smith. We assign Hall of Fame qualities to the callers sometimes. So if you called in and I almost
If you
said,
called like every Monday, we would probably give you a
yeah.
name,
So
too.
if you called in and you were Reggie, we'd call you Mr. October. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to give you some qualities there. All right, you got another ding dong you want to share? 615-737-1045 will get you on the line. The Hickman County line is pretty good. Lucas, what have you got for your ding dong this week?
My ding dong of the week is the New York Mets organization, who drafted Kumar Rocker 10th overall in the 2021 MLB draft and then chose not to sign him because of a perceived medical issue. Rocker then went on to have a stellar season with the Tri-City Valley Cats of the Frontier League and was just taken 3rd overall by the Texas Rangers, where he is now teammates, as we said, with his old Vandy Boys teammate, Jack Leiter.
And he didn't have any surgery or anything, did he?
No. Had a 1.35 ERA for the Tri-City.
Man, somebody
Whatever
was trying
they
to
are. Yes.
bamboozle him. New York Mets.
Yeah, taking number 3. So his draft position actually went up in a year.
Yeah, 7 picks.
And I remember how mystified we were about that when he
Yeah,
kept
I was.
falling. I remember we had a Mets reporter on.
Yeah,
I
we
never,
did.
Yeah, I never thought we'd have a Mets reporter on, but that's exactly what we did. So why in the world did Kumar Rocker fall to the 10th pick?
Yeah, that was crazy. Now he's teamed up with his teammate.
Top 3 pick.
Mm-hmm.
My ding dong, I have so many.
You do?
So this I had other ding dongs set up, written down, had all my ding dongs lined up for today. And I'm downstairs and I'm kind of like going through my stuff, getting ready to start my day, and Get Up is on. And they were doing breakout players in the NFL.
Oh.
And I should have rewound this and like just taken a screen cap of it on my phone because it doesn't even seem real that he said this.
Who said this?
Sam Acho.
Uh-oh.
So the other brother, Acho brother, was on that show, and he left and went to like wherever he went, Fox or CBS or somewhere. So now they have the other Acho brother. And they were doing breakout players in the NFL. And this dude said Jamar Chase.
What? The breakout player?
And Dominic Foxworth was like, hey, man, did you miss all of last season in a coma or something, man? Like Dominic Foxworth is so dry. And then look on his face like, hey, man.
Are you tripping?
And, of course, they're all on Zoom. They're just in their own box. And he was like, hey, man.
Sacho said that?
Yes. Jamar Chase.
Let's find Jamar Chase's numbers.
81 for 1455 and 13 touchdowns. He named him as his breakout question. And so he's like, he's like, no, there's no excuse in this. That's a terrible selection. He broke out. He's broken. He's out. The dude was like in the Super Bowl.
Ask him, like, well, what do you think his breakout number is going to be?
Is he going to beat Cooper Kupp this year?
He's going to get 2,000? I mean, what do you think he's going to do?
That's amazing.
That was
that could be like, we would no longer have you on here. Did you even do your homework?
Derek in Zone TV chat said, how much better do you want him to get? I mean, which we need to hit this one day this week. Titans breakout candidates. Your Titans breakout candidate. So hold on to that. Hold on to your thoughts. We'll get to that. But the other thing is this. I got more, but I'll just stop with 2.
No, give us one more.
The mascot for the Kenosha Kingfish somehow got into some, football drill against A.J. Dillon of the Packers.
Oh, the running back from Boston College.
And he knocked that dude's mascot head off. They did. We called it
a tackling drill.
We called it Blood Alley. Everybody has a name for it. Where you're both laying flat on your back, and then you pop up, and the running back and the tackle.
Oh, we call that bull in the ring.
Bull in the ring. Yeah. Bull in the ring for us was one guy in the middle of like 10 guys, and they'd call a number, and that guy would come and hit you.
Yeah, I think maybe we called it that too.
Okay. Well, Blood Alley.
Blood Alley. I don't remember that one.
That's what they called it.
He
Blood
got blown
Alley.
up.
Why did he agree to do that?
I don't know. Why did either one of them agree to do it?
It was like some minor league baseball hijinks, right? Wasn't it at a minor league game?
It was hijinks, yes.
Yeah.
But I
He
don't
knocked
know if
that dude had the big
Dillon
doop
was
de
like
doop de
knowing
doop.
that he was going like half speed. That dude got a concussion.
There's no way he doesn't have a concussion. And he tweeted like, I'm alive.
Well,
Alive and stupid and a ding dong.
yeah.
Look, man, I get it. You're a zany mascot. You're trying to make your name. At some point, you got to put your own health out there. At some point, you got to say, like, no. And A.J. Dillon, it wasn't fun and games for him. No. He trucked him.
He's a bruiser, too.
Yeah, have you seen it? Oh.
Yeah, you want to talk about legs.
Woo. like chig legs.
Yeah, Dad, those things are some serious breasts.
Thick.
Woo. I don't know, man. A.J. Dillon, dude, they're going to be running away from him. Do not want to tackle him in the open field.
That's the guy that could have a breakout year. Not
Yeah,
Jamar Chase.
A.J. Dillon.
Nah, you're right, he could, yeah.
A.J. Dillon, I'm sure he was like, hey, man, I don't want to do this. And they're like, oh, no, Steve is all for it. Look, I don't want to do this because I don't go halfway. They're like, Steve knows. He understands. He's all in on this. Steve thinks it'll be funny for the kids in the audience. It's like, A.J. Dillon probably looked at him and was like, I'm about to kill Steve. This is your last chance. They're like, no, Steve. Okay. Down said Hut. Blam!
Oh, man. We got to retweet that during the break.
We'll retweet that. If you haven't seen it, we about to retweet it. We'll come back. Robert is on the phone. He wants to talk about Texas A&M. Robert, we will talk to you when we come back.
Man, that's a long ding dong.
Blam! Lane and Mickey 1045 The Zone. We had somebody waiting to ask us a Texas A&M question on the phone. He is long gone.
Oh, he hung up?
He hung up?
Oh,
we were coming right to
we
him.
were about to do the Oklahoma drill on him.
Yeah, we were going to do that.
He says I couldn't think of the name of it.
Oklahoma drill. Thank you.
Oklahoma drill, yeah.
Coheed and Cambria is bringing their A Window of the Walking Mind tour with special guest Alkaline Trio and Mothica. You don't want to miss this. To Nashville's Municipal Auditorium on Saturday, July 23rd. 1045 The Zone has your chance to win tickets thanks to the Window Nation ticket window. That window is open now. You want to go see the show, and I know you do. Be caller 5 now. Your chance to win 615-737-1045 to get those Coheed and Cambria tickets. How many times have you seen those guys in concert? Be honest.
Man, multiple times.
I know.
Yep.
What's your favorite song?
I love you. You love me. Never heard of them before in my life. That's why when you were saying those names, I'm looking at you like, what?
You're like, what's with that?
What the heck are you talking
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, what do you think I was going to say?
Oh,
when I said I
feel like I'm going to pass out. Oh, man.
About what song did they sing? You kept trying to take me there.
Oh, seriously, I'm super dizzy right now, man. I'm super dizzy.
I got you.
Oh, gosh, you got me. You were like, oh, man, yeah, multiple times. Yeah.
Well, I was saying it even when we weren't on there because you were messing with Lucas.
I know.
Talking about how
you should know them, Lucas.
Right. Lucas like, I've never heard of them. And I'm thinking, neither have I. And you was like, oh, like it was just comedy. But you weren't going to say that to me. So you're going to say, oh, but no. You thought I was going to say no. So I said yes.
No, you just kept rolling with it. I'm like, oh, my gosh, he actually knows these guys.
I had no idea.
He's actually a big fan of them.
No, I did not.
I've given them a couple shots. It's just not for me. But super talented band. The phones were ringing off the hook. I think we already have a winner. But Coheed and Cambria, somebody's going to see them.
What is their big song that you know?
None that I know.
Oh. Well, how the heck were you going to ask me if I knew?
I was hoping you knew. I was just going to be like, yeah, that one's my favorite too. I love you. You love me.
Yeah, that look right there looked just like that picture of you when you were a kid right there. That was it. That was that look.
I found some old pictures of myself that I tweeted out.
That you put out there.
Which there's one of me as a teenager and one as a kindergartner. And in the teenage picture.
You got to hold on to them till Thursday, Throwback Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning through the social media.
Wait till Thursday or Flashback Friday.
Yeah, but TBT.
So Greg Sankey spoke this morning, and so my wife walked in. She had been somewhere, and I'm like, hold on. Let me just hear everything this guy's saying. So she's like, gosh, well, you know what? That's the president of the commissioner of the SEC, right? What's he talking about? And I was like, he kind of had a message for the little guys, like, don't let the little guys run the show for the big guys anymore. And he was saying, we need transparency for NIL. And he's basically, here's the quote of the NCAA, the current state that it's in. We cannot go on as we are. It's the commissioner of the SEC who said that. So that means stuff's going to change. Mm-hmm. So just get ready because it's changing.
Now, go on a little detail about what he's talking about, changing the little guys. And when he's talking about the little guys, he's talking about the smaller universities who are actually having input on us making changes, and they don't even understand our situation.
He talked about some of the committees that make big decisions, like about everything. And Lucas read the people from the school, the biggest school. There was a guy from Georgetown on one of the committees.
Norfolk State?
Norfolk State. Illinois State, which is the Redbirds.
Yeah,
they play 1AA because Blaine was like, Redbirds, I know them.
Yeah. And DeQuincy? No.
Duquesne.
I knew it was something.
So he named all the people. It was like the director of affairs of affairs.
What was my question, though? Some of those schools, do they even have a football team?
No.
What Georgetown does. I don't know about Duquesne.
I don't know about Norfolk State. Do they?
Yeah, they do.
They do? Okay. Maybe they all have football.
That's in Virginia.
At various levels. And so there were two things that Greg Sankey addressed specifically to the little guy, and it was people in these committees. He goes, some of them don't talk, and then and we played the audio earlier. He's like, some of them don't speak, and then others are making decisions way beyond the scope of any decision they even make on their own campus. Like, we're empowering them to set policy for Alabama and Tennessee and Texas A&M, and They don't even make decisions on their own campus. The other thing he talked about was people are making decisions above their budget level that are so beyond the scope of any budget they would understand. They're governing things that happen to schools. And we were talking about this, like Georgia has in its couch cushions what Norfolk State spends on a year.
Mm-hmm. And they're the ones.
And Norfolk State is making the decision. I mean, if you're from Norfolk State, we're not taking a shot at you. But Greg Sankey's like, I'm tired of these people making decisions that they can't even understand the scope of. He essentially said that, and even said the expectation levels of the levels that these other schools compete at. They can't even. It's not even in the same league.
Right. Well, they also can't understand those situations until you actually go through those situations. So, they're not having those kind of experiences when you got a budget of $100 million and their budget is $1 million.
Well,
they're like, hey, man, we got to scrape our coins, man. We not going to do that.
I scraped some coins.
Pay the players. Oh, no way.
My wife
He's
said,
like, yes way.
My wife said, gosh, it sounds like he wants to have his cake and eat it too. I said, no, he was saying, we are the cake.
Mm-hmm. And he says, the cake is, I'm about to blow out these candles on y'all.
We got to blow out the candles on this show. More SEC Media Days talk tomorrow. Maybe sneak in some Titans talk as well. But 3HL is coming up next, and they are live at SEC Media Days. So stay tuned.
And in the meantime.
In between time. Peace.